We're going back to New Mexico to a place called Truth or Consequences.
When I started planning this trip, I really did not know anything that was going to happen in New Mexico. All I knew is we were going to loosely follow Interstate 10, and while looking at maps trying to find cool places to go, I spotted a town to the north of I-10 called Truth or Consequences.
Let's be honest. Do you just like the name?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Had no idea what was there. I wrote an itinerary, a loose itinerary for this trip, and when I got to that part, I thought, I'll check the itinerary and see what I had in mind for this. It just had a bunch of question marks. I had no idea what this town was, why it's named that way. I still really don't know much about it. What I didn't expect was that we would find the most charming, peaceful, beautiful state park. Our minds are completely blown here.
We got to Truth or Consequences a bit burned out.
Totally.
We'd been in a lot of cities. We'd been moving really fast. I like being in nature. You like being in nature. I was getting concerned about my training. And Phil found this great campsite at Elephant Butte State Park. And it was everything we needed to revitalize the trip.
We were able to plug in the shore power, so we had electricity. We didn't have to worry about that at all. We had fresh water. There were even showers, which you may or may not have recognized that that's a luxury for us on the road. We haven't gotten a ton of those on the road here, so it was a perfect place to hang out. And then in the meantime, there's an 11-mile trail that runs the entire west side of Elephant Butte Lake, and it's been a perfect training ground for us. What an amazing trail. We've run a marathon of distance on it, and I just want to share one of these runs that we went on. Well, when you're running, you don't really notice it so much, but this is a very windy place. So even though it's super peaceful and beautiful, this time of year, apparently the Southwest gets very windy in the springtime, and that's exactly what we're dealing with. What we haven't talked about yet is the tiny little town, the actual town of Truth or Consequences.
We were only there for, a couple hours.
Yeah.
There's a brewery there. You gotta love a town with a brewery.
Yeah.
And it was solid. And then we went for pizza, and I got the green chili, which apparently you have to get in New Mexico, is these green chilies. The green chili cheeseburger pizza, which sounds disgusting, but all the reviews said you had to get it. I wasn't disappointed.
And she hasn't stopped talking about this for a while. After a week of camp food, pizza and beer, and it was all good. We've had such a restful and peaceful week here in Truth or Consequences, at least in the greater metropolitan area. It seems funny to say that because there's like 60 people that live here, but we had such a nice time. And we're now heading back to Arizona. We're heading to Tucson. Julie's got a work meeting there, so we're going to go that way. Next week, we'll take you along for a day in the life. You can see how we spend our time there, and you get to watch Julie run her marathon there as well, which will be all kinds of fun. But before we go, we went for one last run, and we're going to take you along for that.
Today we're doing 8 miles at Elephant Butte State Park. It's the West Lakeshore Trail, and this is a multi-use trail. Bikers have to yield to hikers, and both of us have to yield to, oh God, rattlesnakes. at the 4-mile turnaround. It's feeling great. I kind of wish it was one of my long run days. This trail is fantastic. It's got a little bit of everything, little elevation, little sand, little gravel, and beautiful views. But we gotta turn around.
Boo.
Boo! But there's lizards and bunnies!
Yay.
Goodbye to New Mexico, and I thought it was only appropriate that I drink a UFO. Ironically, not from New Mexico. I feel like that's a huge miss, but we leave New Mexico. We've had a great time here over the last couple of weeks, but we're on to Arizona, where I run a marathon.